Tuesday in a series of attacks across Afghanistan, with the largest attack hitting the Farah province, where the Taliban targeted multiple checkpoints. Taliban fighters hit 2 highway checkpoints early in the morning in Buluk district in Farah, killing 16 police, then hitting another checkpoint inside the provincial capital, killing 5 more. 4 police are also reported missing after the string of attacks. 5 more police were killed in the Helmand province in another attack by the Taliban on a checkpoint overnight, though when the Taliban issued a statement of responsibility, they'd claimed to have killed dozens of police and captured 10 others. Rounding out Tuesday's violence was a mysterious explosion at a hotel in Jalalabad, which killed 3 civilians. Jalalabad has recently been targeted by the Islamic State fighters, though as of yet, officials aren't saying what happened there.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports for the first time since 2007, the Texas Parole Board on Tuesday recommended clemency for a prisoner on death row who was convicted of murdering his family for inheritance money. Bart Whitaker is scheduled to be executed on Thursday for the 2003 slayings, although the Parole Board recommended that his sentence be reduced to life in prison. The final decision on Whitaker's fate will be up to Governor Greg Abbott. Bart Whitaker's father, Kent Whitaker, was the lone survivor of the attack and has advocated for his son to get a life sentence. At a press conference before the Parole Board announced its recommendation, Kent Whitaker said, "Victims' rights should mean something in this state, even when the victim is asking for mercy and not vengeance." Kent Whitaker told local media that his son has been a model prisoner and is working on a graduate school thesis, and received 4 letters from prison guards who recommended that his life be spared. Kent Whitaker said, "My son is the last member of my direct family, and he's going to be taken from us by the state of Texas in the name of justice in a way that none of my family wants."
Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports a Wisconsin man convicted of murder in the case that was chronicled in the Netflix documentary Making a Murderer on Tuesday asked the U.S. Supreme Court to toss out his 2005 confession that his attorney claims was coerced by investigators. Attorneys for Brendan Dassey made a similar argument to the U.S. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago in December and failed. The judges voted 4-3 to uphold his conviction in the slaying of Teresa Halbach. Dassey confessed that when he was 16, he helped his uncle, Stephen Avery, rape and kill Halbach in 2005. Her charred remains were found on Avery's property about 80 miles north of Milwaukee in Manitowoc County. The pair were convicted of the murder in separate trials. Both men are in prison in Wisconsin. The case was the basis for a 10-part documentary, Making a Murderer, which questioned the handling of the investigation and the motives of the county law enforcement officials. A dissenter in the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals decision, Chief Judge Diane Wood, said Dassey was a low-functioning teenager with an IQ in the low 80s and that without his confession, the case against him was almost non-existent. Wood wrote, "Even if we were to overlook the coercion, the confession is so riddled with input from the police that its use violates due process." In 2016, a U.S. magistrate judge overturned the guilty verdict against Dassey, citing coercion. Then, a 3-judge panel of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the magistrate's ruling, and Wisconsin prosecutors asked for the review by the full court. In October, a Wisconsin judge denied Avery a new trial. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Citing their effortless physical strength, affability, and notable base tans, reports from the country's pools, lakes, and beaches have indicated that once again, the nation's Blakes coasted effortlessly through this year's seasonal lifeguard tryouts. Onion reporters spoke with Cincinnati Centennial Pool's manager, Charles Walker, about the exceptional performance of his Blakes.
We always see strong performances from Blakes, but this year's crop did especially well. Blake D did the 25-yard underwater swim in 86 seconds. Blake S and Blake C both carried subjects 40 yards without breaking a sweat.
In addition to qualifying as pool managers and certified aquatics instructors, the nation's Blakes significantly outshined the nation's Stewarts in swimming, performing CPR, diving, and glistening.
I'm definitely looking forward to being a lifeguard this summer. I heard the test was kind of hard, but it was actually kind of easy.
Our Kaylas are looking pretty strong too. As long as we have a few Blakes and Kaylas out there on the weekends, we'll be set.
This is the Onion News Network.
Kayla's out there on...
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you may take control of the airwaves by dialing in toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, and we are back to our normal format after several days in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico at the Anarchapulco event, which was fantastic. It's Ian here.
And Darryl.
Of course, you can take control, bring up what you want. I have pretty much been disconnected from the news for the last several days, and I mean, more so than normal. Sometimes I'm pretty disconnected from the news and I'm here.
Yes.
But in this case, all I heard about was there was a school shooting. I saw some stuff on the airport televisions when I was on my way back. I heard something.
Donald Trump apparently has said that he's willing to ban bump stocks.
Okay. Was there a bump stock in this case?
No clue.
Okay. And then also the earthquake in Mexico, which I felt, so I knew that.
I only knew about that because Mark posted about it.
Right.
And the show on Sunday ended with the earthquake where you said, we got to get out of here. There's an earthquake.
Wasn't that amazing how it happened right at the end of the interview?
And you're here, so you made it.
Yep, we did make it. And it wasn't a big deal there. It was the first earthquake I'd ever been through. And we were sitting at the table, and I noticed the table was moving, and I thought somebody had just run into the table.
Right.
I looked up and looked at the rest of the table at that point, and nobody was standing near the table, so I thought that's got to be an earthquake. And it was.
I slept through one when I lived in South Carolina. Now,
Really?
it was nowhere near as big as that thing that you guys went through where it's like a 7-point something.
Well, that was like 100 miles away. So where we were, according to Paul, who's one of the longtime Porcfest attendees who was there, lived out in California and Arizona, so he's been through a few of them. He said, He said that we had maybe like a 3. Where we were.
Yeah, so that's about what I had lived through when I lived in South Carolina. And it was, middle of the night. I was asleep, but I remember realizing like it feels like I'm rocking back and forth here.
Yeah, like kind of like on a boat almost. Not quite. A little more intense.
Yeah. Well, when I think of boats, the last boats I were on were cruise ships, and you don't really
rock
feel
that as much
on that because they're so big.
Right.
And I've never laid down on a smaller boat. But like I remember feeling, like this is kind of weird. Maybe I'm just like having a weird dream and rocking back. But I remember the rocking, and then woke up, and then wound up. Oh, there was an earthquake in South Carolina. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. Luckily, nobody got hurt in our case, and there wasn't some massive tidal wave that was generated either.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially being near the ocean, that you really have to worry about the tsunamis and the tidal waves.
The tsunami, yeah, that was the word I was looking for. So, that happened, but otherwise it was really a good time. I kind of described it recently, and I might write something up about it. Maybe for Free Keen, and just kind of include all of our interviews in an article about it, just because it basically has replaced Porcfest, I think, at this point as far as like the key pork kind of like party convention thing. Like the Porcupine Freedom Festival, for listeners unfamiliar, was and is still the summertime event that the Free State Project puts on here in New Hampshire.
Yes.
But it kind of jumped the shark a couple of years ago and ultimately isn't the same kind of event that it once was. I'm not saying it's bad that they've turned it into a family festival kind of. That's the focus now of Porcfest, it seems like. At least that's what I've heard. I have not personally attended in the last couple of years. But this is, people did bring their families to this, kind of like people had brought their families to Porcfest last time. But there's definitely, the hedonist crowd is at Anarchapulco. There's plenty of after-hours parties that are unofficial, that aren't necessarily officially being put on by the event,
right,
but attract a couple hundred people from the event. There were 1,700 people this year ticketed, and I think more people were there than were ticketed also. I think there were people just sort of being
milling
let
about in the hotel.
Yeah, there was security there, but it wasn't particularly tight. And even during Ron Paul, just anyone was allowed to walk in. So that was interesting.
And something else interesting, and I only heard about this, very briefly. Cynthia McKinney was there, former Democratic member of Congress,
correct,
former Green Party presidential candidate at the Anarchapulco, and apparently she's some kind of anarchist.
She came out as an anarchist.
Now, which flavor? And I realized that this is getting really inside baseball.
Yeah, I didn't watch. She and Adam Kokesh.
But you had her on the show.
That's correct. I didn't ask her what flavor. I mean, I just accepted her statement that she was an anarchist, and she was brought into it by Adam Kokesh and her own son, apparently.
Okay.
So, I mean, I wasn't there to hammer the lady to death on
right,
that.
And I wasn't expecting you to do that, but when I think former Green Party presidential candidate, I'm thinking more of maybe an anarcho-syndicalism, anarcho-socialist.
I don't know what
primitive.
Adam Kokesh said that he introduced her to the ideas of voluntarism years ago. So I don't know if that means she's a voluntarist. I didn't specify that with her. But anyway, it was an interesting show. There were a lot of interesting people there, and they've already in 4 years eclipsed basically the maximum level of the Porcupine Freedom Festival. So word has definitely gotten around that this is the event to go to, and I expect that next year, when they basically are going to have to rent the entire resort in order to expand the event, then you're probably looking at maybe 3,000 or so people attending. And it was a sellout this year. There's a good chance that people are going to tell their friends, and that the next one's going to be a sellout. So you might want to go and get your tickets sooner rather than later. If you heard us there and you thought it sounded like it would be interesting to you, there was, as far as attendees,
have they already set the dates for next year?
They have, and tickets are already available.
Okay, that would be why you're mentioning tickets.
The attendees kind of ranged from like cryptocurrency suits to crypto hippies to the crazy kind of esoteric crowd, like conspiracy theory, chemtrail.
You're always going to find that sort of crowd in libertarian circles.
Sure, but they're allowed to speak at Anarchapulco, right? So like within the speakers, you've got Ron Paul to the conspiracy theorists to the cryptocurrency professionals, and everybody's into crypto except for Ron Paul. He's just too old for it. I don't think he's ever going to get into.
What's a computer?
Yeah, I don't think he's ever. I mean, he knows what a computer is. He uses the internet to communicate, and he does it pretty effectively. But he just isn't on board with crypto. But for the most part, like it almost felt like we were at a cryptocurrency convention because there were so many cryptocurrency sponsors that were there.
How many flat earthers were there?
I'm sure they were there, but I don't know if they were speaking. I didn't watch almost any of the actual speakers. I saw Ron Paul speak. I watched Doug Scribner speak, who is a longtime listener and supporter of Free Talk Live, and that was it. So I didn't really see any, except for snippets of a couple others when I went inside to upload the show with the extra high speed connection they had for the video. The video booth was letting us use their bandwidth to upload with. So I saw a little bit here and there of some other folks. But knowing the event from last year and this year, it's just a wide range of people who are attending. You really do have, sort of like the Porcupine Freedom Festival had more of the conservative, they had sort of the open-minded, hedonist, hippie types, and that full range. I think this has that, but without the more conservative side. I don't think the prude types are attending Anarchapulco. So that's why I say it's like the new Porcfest. It doesn't have an event quite as good as Buzz's Big Gay Dance Party, but it would be hard to top Buzz's Big Gay Dance Party.
Also doesn't have Mandrix baklava.
True, but nobody has Mandrix baklava.
Right, because you ate the last of it a couple of weeks ago.
Years ago, like a year ago or something like that. I had it in deep frozen storage. So lots of attendees, good atmosphere, everybody's friendly. You are in a place where if you can afford the tickets, as far as the flight down or the ticket to the actual event, it's not particularly expensive to stay in Mexico, even at a very, very nice, I don't know if you call this a 5-star resort. I'm not an expert on resort ratings or whatever, but it's the Princess Resort in Acapulco. I mean, it's right on the beach. It is about as ideal of a location for a beach party / gathering as you could possibly imagine. So just an incredible group. I can't say enough about how great the event was, and they didn't pay me to say that. They didn't pay us at all to go down there. We went down there. Anarchapulco covered our travel costs. They covered our hotel rooms, but the remote itself, we just did that because the event last year was so good. And again, this year was a sellout, so keep that in mind for 2019. Anarchapulco.com if you want to learn more about that. Coming up, we're going to get into what's happening with North Korea. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Negotiation isn't just something union leaders and sports agents do. Your entire day is a series of negotiations. If you have young children, you know that. In fact, your kids can teach you a lot about negotiating with grown-ups. According to the world's greatest negotiator, Herb Cohen, author of You Can Negotiate Anything. Herb says that kids understand the process of decision-making within an organization. When one parent says no, they'll ask the other. And Cohen says children persist and persevere. And like smart negotiators of all ages, kids know that no is an opening bargaining position. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're a job seeker. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial on in here, toll free. Take control of the airwaves and bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. It's Ian and Darryl here in the studio with you tonight. Coming up, we'll tell you what's going on. Actually, not exactly with North Korea, but what's going on with some of the North Korean people who've tried to escape, not to the United States, but to Canada. And Darryl, you've got the story coming up, but I do want to let our listeners know, and you know, about Zencash. Zencash, which was one of the sponsors at Anarchapulco 2018. Zencash.com, also one of our sponsors. And when they wanted to come on board, I wanted to, do my due diligence because there's a lot of cryptocurrencies out there. I want to know what it is that this group is all about. What is this crypto about? Do we really want to accept them as an advertiser? And yes, we did, because turns out Zencash not only has some of the best technology, which anybody can have this stuff because it's open source software. You can just copy it into your own code. But they've got the important stuff like zero knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations that helps with the governance of Zencash. Plus, it's a secure platform for money and messages that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. But most importantly, these are voluntarists. These are liberty-loving, peace-loving, anonymity, decentralization-loving people that created Zencash. So go and learn more about it. Do your due diligence and check it out before you get involved at Zencash.com. Their team has been increasing to nearly 50 team members from the original 5 that they had when they started things in 2017. And they are now at over apparently 7,000 secure nodes. I was given an updated number on that when I was at Anarchapulco. So lots of people are backing Zencash. It's one of the most strong blockchains in the world as a result of having those 7,000 secure nodes behind it. So go and learn more about it. The wallet's available in multiple languages. Zencash itself is on 6 exchanges as of last check. So check it out.
I think they're on a 7th exchange now because I got an email earlier today mentioning a new exchange.
Good to know. Zencash.com. I have yet to catch up on my emails. That's Zencash.com. So let's get into what is a very disturbing story. I thought when I first saw it that it was going to be the United States, but it's actually Canada.
Oh, Canada. Yes. They've got a reputation for accepting refugees, which makes this even more absurd.
So what is happening there? They're sending people back or what? What's going on?
So a story from Al Jazeera says despite its reputation as a haven for refugees, Canada has been deporting North Korean asylum seekers who came to the country through South Korea. Nearly 2,000 have left since 2013, according to North Korean activists, because the government says they lied on their asylum application forms. Another 150 are under imminent threat of deportation. However, the Canadian Border Services Agency told Al Jazeera it had only recorded 165 removals of North Korean citizens from Canada between 2013 and 2017. It was unclear why there's such a large discrepancy in figures. Again, North Korean activists say since 2013, nearly 2,000 North Koreans.
And the government's saying less than 200?
They're saying, yes, less than 200.
Even if it was less than 200, we're still talking about sending 200 or fewer people to their graves, to their probably painful demise in some sort of prison death camp being operated by the North Korean government. The North Korean government does not take kindly to people trying to leave its prison colony. I mean, that's basically what North Korea is. It is a country surrounded by barbed wire, and that's not to keep people out of North Korea. That's to keep the people in to that country.
Correct.
From what I understand, there's actually barbed wire on the beach in North Korea. They do not want you to get out of there. Now, maybe that's not true, but I've heard that it is. So,
and the barbed wire on the beach might only be within so many miles of the DMZ, which is the demilitarized zone.
I'm not sure.
Because most of the people that flee North Korea
go through China
Correct.
because that border isn't militarized, whereas the border with South Korea is.
It's a mess, and
it is.
If they get caught in China, the Chinese government deports them back to North Korea.
Correct.
They go to a prison camp, and they might just go ahead and imprison the family members of the person as well, simply because
that's generally what they do.
Yeah. So, and that is one of the reasons why people won't leave, because they know that if they get caught, then the rest of their family who didn't leave is going to be punished for it.
Correct.
So it's just a dastardly, evil system.
Continuing on
and
here.
now Canada's playing into it.
Al Jazeera says that many North Koreans may have left voluntarily rather than face forced removal by the border services, and so they were not officially recorded by Canadian border people. 11 years ago, Tegan Kim came to Canada with his wife, daughter, and son. Now they have 2 more children, both Canadian citizens. A deportation would be catastrophic for the family. Kim told Al Jazeera, "That notice means death to me. I came all the way here for a better life, and my family is well adjusted to life in Canada. To think we're going to be separated breaks my heart." The Joe family could also be broken up if Canada carries out its deportation orders. 2 children are Canadian-born. The eldest came with his parents in 2010. The family admits they lied on their asylum application, saying they defected to China, not South Korea, to help ease the immigration process, but add they did it to escape a horrible situation.
Yeah.
Hai Kyung Jo said, "I feel so desperate. It's our fault. My children haven't done anything wrong. They have to go through this separation because of us."
That's horrible.
And now let's talk about this thing to where it's easier on the immigration process to say, yes, I went to China before coming here, instead of saying I went to South Korea.
I'm not that you know, but anybody in Canada, can you explain the reason for that? Is it the Canadian government has better relations with China? That doesn't make any sense. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
And again, they're just using the excuse of, oh, well, you told a lie you put the wrong geographic landmass, the wrong political designation. You should have put this other political designation. Sorry, rejected, deported, goodbye,
right,
you're dead.
And if you would have put the other geographic designation, then it would be a more complicated process to become a refugee here.
It would be more complicated, but they might not kick them out.
The only thing that I could think of is that South Korea has a program to recognize refugees from North Korea. So if you say that you got to Canada from someplace that isn't going to allow you to be a refugee,
like China,
that's
possible.
Then it winds up being easier.
Yeah, it's possible. If you know more, if you're up in Canada and you can, share how, whatever details you may be aware of on this case that we're not, you're welcome to jump in here at 855-450 free like freedom. We're talking about people's lives here, but the government doesn't care. The government isn't compassion. You can tell government's not compassion from examples like this, or where back in World War II times when the U.S. government turned away ships full of Jewish people and sent them to their doom back in Germany.
76 years ago on Monday, when people of Japanese descent were put in internment camps, concentration camps, simply because they were Japanese.
In the United States, just to be clear. That's how that happened.
FDR did that.
855-450 free like freedom is our number. You can join us here. Take control of the airwaves. 855-450 free. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Frustrated trying to get business capital? Want to take the slow process and rejection out of the equation? GCNloans.com removes the slow, irritating approval process. Instead, get quick, simple funding. Powered by David Allen Capital, 80% of our pre-qualified clients are approved in days. Pre-qualify at GCNloans.com and get your money this week. It's that easy. GCNloans.com. That's GCNloans.com.
Free Talk Live.
What I find to be particularly amusing is where people are partying and reveling in the streets over the killing of another human being, and they're trying at the same time to act like they're better than everyone else. They're trying at the same time to on one hand they're saying we're the best, America's the best, go USA, go team, everything we do is great. We're not like the rest of those savages around the rest of the world. We're better than the rest of those people around the world. But look, you're partying in the streets over a killing just like they did. You are no different than anyone else. You are the thing that you hate.
Right. If it's like, oh, in your face, hey, what is that going to result in?
Violence.
It's going to result in another airplane hitting another building.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us here on the radio. Take control of the airwaves, 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live, brought to you by the Blink Home Security System. You got a house? Maybe you don't yet have a security system for it. You don't want to deal with the hassles, the costs of not only buying an expensive system, but then having to pay some professional or take a bunch of your time to do it yourself, to install the thing. With the Blink Home Security System, you don't have to deal with any of that. It's 3 Blink cams are available to you for what some of the other guys might charge you for one of their wired cameras, and all the Blink cameras are wireless. So you just unbox, pop the batteries in, and put them where you want, then set it up via your Wi-Fi-enabled device like a tablet or smartphone. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Get yours. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. As we go to the phones, to the fun. Tom is in Hudson in New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live, Tom.
Yeah, good evening. It's about the school shooting down in Florida, and how you got all these students who are, students of the government-run indoctrination centers being taught all about how it's all the fault of the gun, of course. You actually have them saying it's the fault of the gun that somebody was able to use, And the bureaucrats, of course, are blaming everybody but themselves. And the important thing for libertarians to remember is the real solution is the orthodox libertarian extremist solution, which is to respect other people's right to be left alone, and immediately the public schools will be will be right out of business when people are no longer forced against their will to pay for them or to attend them. And, the culture that the bureaucrats breed in the government-run indoctrination centers, they say, that not just being soft on bullying, but promoting bullying in a lot of different ways, such as treating the football players like they're better than everybody else. The teachers openly, institutionally do this. I remember when I was a hostage at a government-run indoctrination center at junior high school, being forced to attend a pep rally.
Oh, those were the worst.
Pep rally. Like I'm supposed to care whether Central Junior High School's football team defeats South Junior High School's football team in the same town.
See, I never went to a school with a football team until like the very end of my high school career and my senior year, and I basically didn't even go to most of that.
They didn't mandate. Where I went to school, we had the pep rallies, but it was not mandatory that you go.
They
it
had
was
pep
if
rallies.
you don't go to the pep rally, you go to the cafeteria,
Like study hall or something like that. They had pep rallies when I was in elementary school, and so there was no football team. It was just a thing where people like got awards for good citizenship or good math ability or something.
That's not a pep rally. That's an awards presentation.
They called them pep rallies. That's what they called them. Because it was school spirit, Darryl. It was all about rah rah school, rah rah our school. Go ahead, Tom.
Can I point something? Yeah. Okay. You have all these cheerleaders up on the stage. These attractive young ladies chanting, first name, last name. He is our man. He is our man. He can do it. He runs up onto the stage and faces the audience, and everybody's cheering. Like it promotes.
So you hate sports? Is basically what you're saying.
No, I don't.
No, I
don't think that's
just
what he's
don't
saying.
think that the government should be forcing people. First of all, if you know what happens if you don't pay for the football team, the government sends gun-toting goons in bulletproof vests to force you out of the house.
Wow, I've never known of a high school that their booster program was funded through taxation. Booster program.
What's a booster program?
It's the group of people that raise money to pay for the athletic.
Are you saying that the athletic department doesn't get government money? Come on, dude. They're getting
saying
more
the
money.
majority of their funding comes from the boosters. There might be a portion of the school budget.
Believe there is. Somebody's paying those coaches. Somebody's paying the coaches. Somebody's paying for the fields. All that stuff. Go ahead.
The fields generally come from donations to booster program, to a fund that you want to renovate the thing. Donate some money.
Yeah,
and what else
on property they got by stealing from people. Go ahead, Tom.
If you don't pay up and they send gun-toting goons in bulletproof vests to force you out of the house, typically the house is then sold at what is called a sheriff's sale. See, so always, and the sheriff is a cop. So always remember, everything is always the fault of cops.
Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call tonight. Look, I don't care.
So when the wide receiver drops the ball, blame the county sheriff. You can't blame the cops for everything, Tom.
It's funny though. I don't care if they're promoting the football team, the tennis team, the chess club, or whoever it is. I think pep rallies are just that mindless nonsense of go team. And not, like I said, Darryl, in my case, it had nothing to do with sports. It was all just the team of school. This is the best school. We're in the best school. It had there wasn't even sports teams at elementary school.
Yeah, that's just weird.
Is it weird? Maybe there's other people that had that experience, because I suspect that my school wasn't the only. It was just it was a government school in Sarasota, Florida. I suspect it wasn't the only school with pep rallies.
That had nothing to do with athletics.
Sports. Correct.
That's the thing that is weird to me.
Yeah. So if you want to join us here, talk about your experience on government schools, you're certainly welcome to do it. Most people, I think, had a bad experience, but some people, they thought it was okay. Of course, they don't have anything to compare it to. most people don't have the ability to compare, say, a government school to a private school to a home school because they haven't been through one or all of those things. But for people who have, you're welcome to ring us up here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's go to Ricky. He's in Pennsylvania in the Commonwealth. Go ahead, Ricky.
Thank you there, brother. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed your little vacation there, brother.
Well, it was work, but a little bit of vacation mixed in. Go ahead.
Well, there's got to be a time for work and play, right, brother?
That's true.
Now, I had a very disturbing experience.
Uh-oh.
You know, well, I was invited down there.
Down where?
by the DNC down there to speak with the candidates, and here it turned out to be an ass-kissing
The DNC,
session.
the Democratic National Caucus Committee?
Committee, you want to call
I think
them
he means
that.
the state Democrats.
For Pennsylvania?
Yeah, now here's the problem. See, I went down there, and here I was like 5 minutes late.
Were you
after
wearing
7.
your rebel flag cape?
Oh, yes, I was.
Okay,
Now,
that could have caused a problem.
Well, that's okay. I'm causing a problem now.
Okay.
Because the way I was treated, they violate 5 of my constitutional rights.
5 of them?
So
give me one.
5 of them.
Give me the first one they violated.
My inherent rights of mankind.
That's not in the Constitution, is it?
It is over here in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Also, Section 7, my freedom of speech.
It's in most state constitutions.
Gotcha.
Something about power comes from the people.
I see.
Or how about this one? Let's see here. Neither the Commonwealth nor any of its subdivisions shall
Democratic Party is neither the Commonwealth nor the subdivision.
It's a political party.
Actually,
correct. It's a private entity.
Well, here's the thing. So I got angry. Angry.
What did they do? Wait. What did they do? I mean, you're claiming they violated your rights, but you haven't said exactly what they did.
Well, because you're trying to figure it out. I can just tell you. I go in there, and, I was invited. And see, first of all, this was an ass-kissing session.
Right, but what did they do? So you got invited, you showed up, you were wearing a rebel flag, and then what happened?
Well, let's see here. Somebody said to me, oh, that's not going to fly here. What, you're flying on your back? I said, excuse me? Take it off. I said, I will not. I will not. That's all right. Then somebody tried to help me and say, what does that stand for? I started into my thing.
Did you just barge in at that point? Or did they stop you?
No, I was in the main room.
Okay.
Now, what happened then is somebody tried to help me, and I tried to respond by saying, what does that stand for?
I don't know if they're trying to help you.
Were you there?
I don't know. It doesn't sound like the kind of person that would try to help in that situation. Hang on. I want to hear more about the story.
Okay, brother.
And did you get video?
No, unfortunately, I
thought you've got a fancy Windows phone. Can't that thing record video? I mean, you need to get on that, Ricky. Hang on. We're going to get the rest of your story here in a moment. Ricky says he was thrown out of the Democratic National or Democratic State Committee of some sort, some kind of meeting that he tried to attend, while wearing the rebel flag on his back. 855-450-FREE.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Really
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up whatever you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. And in the studio with you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
We've got Ricky on the line with us here, and he says he was thrown out of a Democrats meeting in Pennsylvania recently. I want to talk to him a little bit more about that, get the rest of the story, and of course we'll take your calls about what you want. Then on the way, more about the North Korean refugees in Canada who are facing deportation in the thousands, apparently, over the last few years, which means that Canada's government is sending people basically to their death or their torture, along with others who weren't ever even involved in escaping from North Korea, since North Korea will put family members of escapees into torturous conditions as well. So we'll tell you more about that. 855-450-FREE does allow you to get on the air with us here. And also, I didn't mention this, but we do have our Discord on-air call-in line, which allows you to call us and sound pretty much like you're sitting in the studio with us in a lot of cases. You can join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. And we'll take your calls there. In addition to Skype, which is where Ricky is on the line. We're going to bring him back on right now. Ricky, you were telling us you went to some sort of forum that you were invited to. Now, why were you invited to this organization, the Democratic National Committee, or Pennsylvania one?
Well, at first they didn't answer my call, so I left a message. Now, this was quite a while back. Now, the local DNC, now, they checked into me and said, wow, we didn't even have you on our radar. I said, no kidding, I'm not surprised. I'm actually very well known because I'm Confederacy and a lot of other things, too.
He
like I said
is Confederacy.
Yes. Remember, brother, Jefferson Davis was
the embodiment of all that is the Confederacy.
That's right. Jefferson Davis wasn't elected. He was selected, and so was Rickett from the Commonwealth. God save the South. Bang, bang. Now, the fact of the matter is, yes, I'm a different brand of Democrat. Now, the fact of the matter,
you're definitely different. Yeah, you are something else. All right. So, was this some sort of candidates event, or what was this?
Yeah, what it was is Darryl understands what they do. They started an hour early.
Darryl doesn't go to the Democrat meetings.
Well, after the fact, you see, I was there about 5
a libertarian.
10 minutes late. Well, okay, so whatever. I understand that.
But wait, okay, but were you invited because you are a candidate for office? Why were you invited?
Yes. I was there to speak.
Why can't we find the details on this thing? Darryl said he took a look and he couldn't find where this meeting was. Is it secret?
It was over in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Strasburg?
Stroudsburg. Stroud. STROUDSPURG.
And when was it?
There.
When was this?
Oh, the 15th at 7 o'clock. But they started an hour early, and they kissed each other's asses before I got there.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all right.
And what was the goal of the event? Was it to
to introduce the candidates? Well,
to the Democrats. Okay.
So you showed up, and then they proceeded to violate every constitutional right you have.
That's what he
But
claimed.
you didn't say how they did so.
Yeah, so get to the rest of your story. They said, hey, buddy, you can't come in here with that on. You were trying to wear a rebel flag on your back.
They said I could stay if I'd take it off. I said, no. One of the boys actually said, grab him a petition. They said, no way in hell we're going to, and they're freaking out. So what ended up happening is, the black lady, now she started with her stuff. She started calling me a racist. That's when I told her, 29 years of civil rights taught me a couple of things. One, ignorance is the best defense. Second of all, more importantly, I pointed out that she's part of the problem. She was destroying the Democratic Party.
Why?
I'm a Democrat. What the hell are you?
Why is she destroying the Democratic Party?
Because she's the one that's getting fooled by the Federalists and all the others. The damn party's screwed. This is why now I will run as a Democrat, an anti-federalist. Now, I checked into that, too.
Now, it sounds to me like they aren't going to be very happy about that, Ricky. Isn't it possible they're going to primary you out? They're going to put somebody up to...
See, if he petitions onto the ballot with the label anti-federalist, there is no primary because he's petitioned...
No, he just said he was going to run as a Democrat.
But he also said he's going to run as an anti-federalist, and those are two different things.
Now, here's how I'm going to do that. See, I already called the Department of State on this. Now, the fact of the matter is they got caught in a position. They're freaking out. I said, well, you know what? You got a choice here. I could put that down there and all of that.
What
you
down
say
where?
You can do what you do. Anti-federalist Democrat. They won't do it. Now, here's the thing. The reason why. I said, well, okay, all you got to do is tell me this is not the party of Jefferson. We're not political.
This is now you're back to what you said to the guards at the door?
Right.
Okay.
Now, it happened. No, I said that to the Department of State, too.
Okay. So what happened that night, though? So they told you can't come in here with that on.
Well, here's what I did. After the black lady said what she said, some did come to my aid, which I talked to outside eventually. But see, they stopped me. Somebody started grabbing my arm and pulling.
Yep.
And
Get out of here, you.
And I said, I'm not. They said, leave. I said, I'm not leaving anyway. Leave or call the police. I said, I am the police. And they freaked out. And that's all right. Now, the brother talked to me on the foyer. Somebody tried to bother us, and I just owned him.
For listeners that don't know, Ricky claims that he was deputized by some organization in Pennsylvania but refuses to identify it.
A department. I am a deputy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I will actually send you references to it.
Okay. All right. So then what? So they tried to grab you and take you out. Then what?
I went in the foyer to talk to the brother that was talking to me about it because he's my demographic, 25 to 35.
Okay.
That's my little confederacy.
Meaning you were talking to the guy who dragged you out?
No, he was the one that said, come over here, I'll talk to you. And he's one of the brothers of the Brotherhood, it turns out.
Are you saying he's black? I'm not sure what you're saying there.
Confederacy. He's one of the sons of liberty. Like yours truly.
How did you identify that?
He identified himself because he started talking to me. He thinks that Abraham Lincoln is a lion emancipating white supremacist son.
I don't believe this story.
Oh, well,
I don't believe the story at all. While I would believe that you went to a Democratic committee meeting wearing a rebel flag, I don't believe that
That's all right.
that one of your Confederate brothers came and secretly identified himself to you and then started talking to you about how awful Lincoln was.
It was not a secret. He's speaking openly in front of everybody.
I just don't buy it. I don't buy that one of your Confederate brothers was there at the Democratic Party meeting.
You got to understand, a real Democrat like I am, an anti-federalist, and the fact is.
So what happened then? You talked to the guy in the foyer. Go ahead.
I decided to talk outside because people just came.
You decided to leave, right? Because they were calling the cops on you. Probably a good move.
Well, no. They didn't do that because I am the cops. I told them that I encourage it. I told them.
So the police never showed up, is what you're saying?
No, they never called because I told them call the cops. We'll have a lot of fun then. I am a real deputy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I encouraged it.
Let's see the badge. Can you put the yourself holding a picture of yourself holding your badge, and you got to do it tonight. That way we know you've actually got it. You don't just go and buy like a badge from the Dollar Tree or something like that tomorrow.
I originally started going out undercover. Deputies of the Commonwealth of Pennsvilania don't wear a badge.
You don't get a badge.
I'm in databases. The people who can see me are people within the state police and also
likely story.
Commonwealth cops.
What kind of cop? I mean, because cops love their shiny badges, right? Like, what kind of cop?
They're all fake. They're all fake,
Yeah, that's not the attitude of a cop generally. I mean, I agree with you. They are fake, but
they keep their real one behind so bad guys don't steal them. Everybody knows that.
No,
but the fact
I've never heard that story.
The hat is the badge.
Darryl, have you ever heard that claim before? That the cops don't have a real badge on them. They keep a fake one so the criminals don't steal it from them.
What?
I've never heard that one before. That's original.
Darryl,
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you for the call tonight. I got to say, I have never heard that claim before.
Nor have I. And when I worked as a corrections officer, they didn't say, hey, Darryl, this isn't the real badge. This is the fake one in case one of the inmates steals it. When I worked security and I had a little badge, they never said, this is the fake badge in case somebody steals your uniform.
And the fact is, cops love their badges. So the idea that there would be a class of police officer in Pennsylvania, which, sorry, you don't get a badge.
All right.
All the other cops get badges, but not you, Mr. Deputy. You're just a deputy.
Here's what I found out. And there are various reasons why one can be deputized.
Okay.
When I worked, I've mentioned before, working hospital security when I lived in Pennsylvania. I was deputized in Latrobe, Pennsylvania for the purposes of writing parking tickets on hospital property.
I see. Just for that sole purpose.
The extent of my deputization, but there was some, thing of you got to swear an oath, something. So on this candidate forum thing, it wasn't a candidate forum.
You did find something on the 15th in that town?
Yes, the Monroe County, Pennsylvania Democratic Party had a county meeting for the purposes of signing petitions to get candidates on the ballot.
Gotcha.
It was not a candidates forum.
The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We got more coming up. Hour number 2 is on the way. More on North Korean refugees, Venezuela, and your calls and thoughts if you make them. This is Free Talk Live.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, February 21st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.43 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,328 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $37, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,016. Antiwar.com reports at least 29 people, mostly Afghan police, were killed on Tuesday in a series of attacks across Afghanistan, with the largest attack hitting the Farah province, where the Taliban targeted multiple checkpoints. Taliban fighters hit 2 highway checkpoints early in the morning in Buluk district in Farah, killing 16 police, then hitting another checkpoint inside the provincial capital, killing 5 more. 4 police are also reported missing after the string of attacks. 5 more police were killed in the Helmand province and another attack by the Taliban on a checkpoint overnight, though when the Taliban issued a statement of responsibility, they'd claimed to have killed dozens of police and captured 10 others. Rounding out Tuesday's violence was a mysterious explosion at a hotel in Jalalabad, which killed 3 civilians. Jalalabad has recently been targeted by the Islamic State fighters, though as of yet, officials aren't saying what happened there.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports for the first time since 2007, the Texas Parole Board on Tuesday recommended clemency for a prisoner on death row who was convicted of murdering his family for inheritance money. Bart Whitaker is scheduled to be executed on Thursday for the 2003 slayings, although the Parole Board recommended that his sentence be reduced to life in prison. The final decision on Whitaker's fate will be up to Governor Greg Abbott. Bart Whitaker's father, Kent Whitaker, was the lone survivor of the attack and has advocated for his son to get a life sentence. At a press conference before the Parole Board announced its recommendation, Kent Whitaker said, "Victims' rights should mean something in this state, even when the victim is asking for mercy and not vengeance." Kent Whitaker told local media that his son has been a model prisoner and is working on a graduate school thesis, and received 4 letters from prison guards who recommended that his life be spared. Kent Whitaker said, "My son is the last member of my direct family, and he's going to be taken from us by the state of Texas in the name of justice in a way that none of my family wants."
Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports a Wisconsin man convicted of murder in the case that was chronicled in the Netflix documentary Making a Murderer on Tuesday asked the U.S. Supreme Court to toss out his 2005 confession that his attorney claims was coerced by investigators. Attorneys for Brendan Dassey made a similar argument to the U.S. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago in December and failed. The judges voted 4-3 to uphold his conviction in the slaying of Teresa Halbach. Dassey confessed that when he was 16, he helped his uncle, Stephen Avery, rape and kill Halbach block in 2005. Her charred remains were found on Avery's property about 80 miles north of Milwaukee in Manitowoc County. The pair were convicted of the murder in separate trials. Both men are in prison in Wisconsin. The case was the basis for a 10-part documentary, Making a Murderer, which questioned the handling of the investigation and the motives of the county law enforcement officials. A dissenter in the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals decision, Chief Judge Diane Wood, said Dassey was a low-functioning teenager with an IQ in the low 80s, and that without his confession, the case against him was almost non-existent. Wood wrote, "Even if we were to overlook the coercion, the confession is so riddled with input from the police that its use violates due process." In 2016, a U.S. magistrate judge overturned the guilty verdict against Dassey, citing coercion. Then, a 3-judge panel of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the magistrate's ruling, and Wisconsin prosecutors asked for the review by the full court. In October, a Wisconsin judge denied Avery a new trial. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new video game is being criticized for its harsh portrayal of barbed wire. Here's Gamebyte's Caitlin Torres with more.
Bethesda's The Evil Within is a nightmarish adventure that shows bloody and rusty barbed wire being used to hurt innocent people, which has angered the nation's barbed wire producers.
Barbed wire is a positive force for good. It protects our junkyards from scrap metal thieves and helps keep our cattle ranches safe from rustlers. But Bethesda thinks it's okay to ignore all the benefits of barbed wire and make it look like some scary thing used by murderers.
The designers have promised that the game will feature prominent messages extolling the virtues of the sharp steel fencing. But barbed wire groups say that it's too little too late.
If Bethesda wants to make this right, they should have the main character go behind a fence and then be safe from monsters because they can't climb over the barbed wire to get him. Now that's a game I would play.
Let's hope Bethesda listens.
Thanks, Caitlin.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up what you want, and take control of the airwaves at 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And also, you can call through our Discord on-air call-in line, available to you over on our Discord at discord.lrn.fm, which also normally allows you to just talk to other Free Talk Live listeners. There's people in there right now chatting away. And they're there before, during, and after the show. It's open 24/7. Discord.lrn.fm. As we continue here, for those of you just tuning in, last hour, Darryl, you started a disturbing story out of all places, Canada, a place that historically has been looked to as a safety zone for refugees.
Correct.
But now, over the last, I don't remember how many years, they have...
Since 2013.
So the last 5 years, they have deported as many as 2,000 people, according to one activist group.
Well, the North Korean activist group says that nearly 2,000 have left Canada, some of those forcefully, or under force from the Canadian government. The Canadian Border Services Agency says that they've only recorded 165 removals, which means that many people probably left voluntarily before they were forcefully removed.
Okay, well, that is not as bad as it could have been.
That's why I used the term voluntarily with the air quotes there.
Right. I mean, now that does mean they could go somewhere else besides back to North Korea, I suppose. So maybe Uruguay, for instance, which is one of the more friendly places, as I understand it, to immigrants from around the world. They basically don't really have much of an immigration process there. That's what I've been told.
Right. They have something that is akin to open borders.
Yeah.
But yet the anti-open border people say, you're not really a country if you have open border. Well, I don't know anybody that says that Uruguay is not actually a country.
Well, right. I mean, there are certainly people who there are operating something that they call a government, and that government has jurisdiction, according to their mind, over a certain plot of land that most people will call Uruguay. But even if they really did have open borders, it's unlikely that the countries surrounding them would believe in those open borders. So there would still be a border there. It would just be the other country's border at that point.
Correct.
And so your freedom would end at the beginning where their border starts.
Right. So let's continue here where already, and I'll post the link to this article on the Facebook and the Twitter. Already covered a couple of the families that were mentioned that are facing deportation. A couple of the families that they mentioned also have children that are Canadian citizens, meaning that if they're deported, the family gets split up by the Canadian government.
Yep.
Rocky Kim of the Canada Federation of North Korean Defectors Group said family members still inside the totalitarian state, that being North Korea, remain vulnerable because of their escape. Attracting attention to the situation could be deadly. The refugees say South Korea, and let me go back and explain why some of these refugees are facing deportation. They put on their refugee applications that they entered Canada from China, not South Korea.
When they had entered from South Korea.
Correct. The refugees say South Korea is definitely not safe for them as there are North Korean spies that can track them down. Kim said, if we're found by the North Korean government, our family left in North Korea will be executed or sent to a labor camp.
Yep.
A lawyer has met with Canadian officials to appeal to the Minister of Immigration, Ahmed Hussein, to allow the Koreans to stay on compassionate grounds. There's been no response yet. Jacqueline Ann, one of the lawyers, said internationally, we are recognized as a humanitarian and compassionate country, accepting refugees from Syria and all over the world. And why should these 150 remaining people be sent back?
I'd love to hear from somebody who thinks they should. The toll-free number here is 855-450, free like freedom. As somebody who just recently spent some time crossing these international boundaries, it's just all so stupid. All of the waiting, all of the lines, all of the paperwork, it's just so dumb. I'm sorry, it's all for obedience, it's all for control, it's all for revenue. It has absolutely nothing to do with protecting you from anything. I mean, you've got this propaganda out there about the people of Mexico, for instance, which is where I went to for those just tuning in. I was down in Acapulco for the Anarchapulco 2018 conference, and just before we left, I don't know if you were on this show, Darryl, but one of our listeners contacted us saying the New York State Department has just issued a warning saying do not travel to the Guerrero province of Mexico or the Guerrero state, specifically Acapulco, because scary. Because murders.
I remember hearing you talk about this, and you reached out to Angel Clark, who hosts a show on the Liberty Radio Network.
Yep.
She lives there.
And has for a few years now.
And she said, there's nothing going on here.
No, nothing unusual for a city of 1 million people. I mean, you put 1 million people together, there's going to be some crime, right? I mean, that's going to happen in any city with 1 million people.
You put 10,000 people somewhere, there's going to be... Hell, 1,000 people, there's going to be some kind of something.
Yeah.
Whether it's, petty theft or something
or whatever.
Worse, there's going to be crime.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of propaganda. And according to some of the people there, the propaganda's so bad, Darryl, like, we don't realize this because you and I, we don't watch mainstream media. Like, we don't sit down and spend time watching CNN or Fox or MSNBC or whatever. But I forget who it was I was talking to, but somebody was saying that when their family found out they were going to Acapulco, the whole family started to persuade them, like not their direct family, but grandma, grandpa, mom, pop, those sorts of things, started to try to persuade them against going. They were afraid for them, believing that their family, that these members of their family who wanted to go to Acapulco were going to go to their doom. That it was that scary, that dangerous, that awful, that horrifying to be in Acapulco, Mexico. There's also other propaganda, apparently. Again, this is all from what people told me. There's other propaganda talking about how bad Acapulco is, not just from a crime aspect, but economically. Like, oh, there's boarded up businesses all in the downtown. It's terrible. It's like Gary, Indiana.
There are boarded up. I'm glad you mentioned Gary, Indiana, because boarded up businesses there. There are boarded up businesses in Detroit. There are boarded up businesses in tiny little Keene, New Hampshire, where we live.
But there aren't on the main street of downtown Old Acapulco. I mean, we drove through there because Angel Clark's house is out in Old Acapulco. So the resort areas, the new resorts, there's old resorts in Old Acapulco, but the new resorts, the one we were at, the Princess, is in what they call the new side or Diamante. So we went through Old Acapulco. We drove through the entirety of, I mean, it's a 45-minute drive to go around the two bays to get basically from Angel Clark's house to this resort that we were at. So we drove through basically all of the main drag of Old Acapulco, and you've not seen a bustling city like this. I mean, there's people everywhere. I didn't see any boarded up shops or anything. Now, I'm sure you can go back in some industrial park, and there's probably some stores that are, empty or whatever.
You were also in a tourist city, which means that there are going to be more open businesses because tourists.
They were just chock full of business and people everywhere, people in the streets, plenty of cars. They had all these like horse-drawn carriages even with crazy lights on them, like, LED lighting on horse-drawn carriages. It was wild. And, of course, they have the party buses that are just done up with crazy lighting on the outside to get your attention.
Party bus?
Yeah, they're party buses. I guess, I don't know if they serve alcohol on the bus. I've heard that they're a lot of fun to ride. But so, like, there's regular-looking kind of touristy buses, and then there's the party buses, which are just decked out with all kinds of lighting, and they're just fun, fun to see on the streets. So, yeah, I'm sure if you search for, like, Party Bus Acapulco, you'll probably...
I came across the website partybusmx.com.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's the official name of...
Party Bus Mexico. It says Party Bus on the side of it. I thought that was just a slang term you came up with because you saw somebody getting drunk.
No. I don't know if I don't think they all say Party Bus on the side. There's probably a bunch of competition there, but
Party Bus Mexico is a brand name of Party Bus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just take you around and
they've got DJs.
You have fun on the bus. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Cash. It's perfect for beginners, and the Bitcoin.com wallet makes using and holding Bitcoins easy. No logins are required. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. The Skype username is lrn.fm. Or join us on the Discord on-air call-in line, where we actually do have a caller. We'll get to that in just a moment. It's Ian and Darryl in the studio here with you tonight. And I do want to let you know about liberty.menu. There's a lot of great libertarian businesses out there, but they don't all necessarily have that in their title. So how do you know when you're looking at a list of businesses whether it's being run by a liberty-minded person?
And there are some businesses with liberty in the title that most definitely aren't liberty-friendly.
Great point.
Liberty tax.
Yeah, great point. But in this case, liberty is actually in the title of this business, and it's a business that allows you to list your liberty business. It's liberty.menu, which is about as easy as a name can get to remember. Liberty.menu is where you can go and you can list your business, your event, your digital content, and more. Whatever it is that you think other liberty-minded people, voluntarists, anarchists, principled libertarians would appreciate, because this is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. If that describes you, then you need to get your business up over at liberty.menu right now, because you're missing out on potential customers. There's no reason not to do this. It's a free service. You can just go register your account there for free. You can actually use code FTL, get a special badge for the account to let folks know you're a Free Talk Live listener. But you register your account for free, and then you put up as many entries as you would like. You got more than one business? No problem. Maybe you're a media creator, like I put Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree up there. So go and get interactive. And there's also a bit of a social networking aspect to it. You can rate, you can review the businesses that are there. Once again, go to liberty.menu. And of course, there are ways to upgrade your account, upgrade your listings, and pay a little bit toward the site to keep it operational. But again, at its base level, it is a free service to make the Liberty community more aware of itself. Go and check it out at liberty.menu. So
you forgot the code to get
mention
the
that, actually.
FTL.
You didn't hear me mention it, but I did mention it.
I did not hear that.
Code FTL, you get a special badge. So we were talking a little bit about the fear-mongering that goes on around Mexico, and I think that we led into it by talking about the North Korean refugees being deported. And
then you mentioned party bus, and I got distracted looking at pictures of party buses with stripper poles.
Yeah. I didn't. Like I said, I've never been inside one of them, but maybe next time I go to Acapulco,
and hot Latinas,
we'll go take a party bus in downtown just to see, just to see what it's like. Because I've driven through the downtown old Acapulco, but I've never actually stopped and gotten out and done things down there.
Did you eat street food?
So we had tacos and such, which there are taquerias everywhere in Acapulco, and it's sort of a Mexican thing. There's different, styles in different areas of Mexico.
Right, but did you get food? So by street food, I mean, did you order from a
cart,
a food truck, or a cart?
They actually had food trucks apparently nearby the hotel, but no, not in old Acapulco or like regular Acapulco. I did not. But there are, as I said, taquerias, which are more stationary,
right?
But also excellent, very cheap, very good food that me and Laura, which is Mark's wife, and Mark all went out to eat at one of these places. And for a full dinner for the three of us, including 2 beers for Mark, it was $20 US. That's what it came to. So very, very affordable. Whereas if you go to the hotel buffet, it's $20 a head.
Yeah.
So big difference there. And anyway, the point I was making, though, was that the U.S. State Department comes out with this scary notice about the Guerrero province in Acapulco, which is where Acapulco is, the southwest area.
State. They're states in Mexico.
The Guerrero state coming out with a scary notice about how dangerous it is, and don't travel. We suggest you not travel there at all. And they do this constantly about Mexico, making it sound like some sort of dangerous place, that you're in a high-risk area. If you go anywhere in Mexico, just don't do it. And I think that part of that is to put into people's heads the idea that, ooh, there's bad people down there. It's a scary place, so we don't want those people coming here.
Right.
I think that's sort of the seeds that are planted with people, because I was shocked, Darryl, when so many people were telling me, yeah, my family didn't want me to come here. And it's great, right? Like, this is an awesome place. And I'm not just talking about, on the resort property, because that's not real Acapulco. That's a special cloistered off zone where there literally are men with machine guns standing at the gate, checking cars as they come in. Stray dogs are not allowed in there. So you got to go outside of the hotel property to actually be in Acapulco.
Right.
And we certainly did that.
So I've actually pulled up the travel warning
from the State Department.
The State Department. And I'm not going to read the entire thing. But they do mention 5 specific Mexican states to avoid due to crime. And earlier on, they mentioned violent crimes such as homicide, kidnapping, carjacking, and robbery is widespread. Colima, Guerrero, Michoacan, Sinaloa, and Tamaulipas. They further say, if you do decide to travel to Mexico, use toll roads when possible and avoid driving at night. Exercise increased caution when visiting local bars, nightclubs, and casinos.
I would avoid driving anyway, just because it's crazy, like in Acapulco.
Plus, then, since you didn't drive, you would have to rent a car, and, that's not necessarily cheap.
I don't know how cheap it is. I have not looked into it, because we've got this cool taxi driver that we know there, because Angel Clark knew this dude, and he worked in the United States for decades, so his English is decent. And so, we just call him, and he takes us wherever we need to go.
The next 2 pieces of advice are just good general advice
for traveling anywhere.
Regardless. Well, not just for traveling, but just regardless. Be extra vigilant when visiting banks or ATMs.
Yep.
And do not display signs of wealth, such as wearing expensive watches or jewelry.
There you go.
Next,
don't drive a Lambo.
Encourage you to enroll in the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program to receive alerts to make it easier to be located in an emergency.
I don't want the government to have my info. I'm passing on that.
Follow the Department of State. You have a passport, Ian. They have your info.
That's true.
Follow the Department of State on Facebook and Twitter.
No, not going to do that either.
Review the crime and safety reports for Mexico.
Not going to do that either.
U.S. citizens
I'm not going to do that
travel
because
abroad.
Hold on. I'm not going to do that because if what you do is spend your time reviewing crime reports, then you're going to convince yourself that you're going to a dangerous place.
I don't look at crime reports when I drive to another city in New Hampshire.
Is the U.S. State Department also putting out warnings about Chicago? Because I hear that's really dangerous. Lots of murders and such in Chicago. Are they warning international travelers not to come to Chicago? I bet not.
I'll take a look.
Yeah, I bet not.
They also say U.S. citizens who travel abroad should always have a contingency plan. And again, it's always good to have a contingency plan. Three of these pieces of advice are just good general advice for when you're traveling.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So, yeah, I think it's just a bunch of bunk, the fear-mongering about Mexico. It's just a place. There's good people there, mostly good people, just like most places in the world. There's a government. They are not necessarily good, but they're not as bad as some of the governments out there. There's more coming up here in moments, and you can take control of the airwaves. 855-450-FREE like freedom. Join us. This is Free Talk Live.
Fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. I'm talking thick, meaty, center-cut presidential bacon. Savory and delicious. I buy some, I use some, I store some. Awesome. No refrigeration needed with a 10-year shelf life. NASA pack technology. Bacon. Fully cooked, fully hydrated, ready to eat right from the packed bacon or warm and served. Life-saving, ready-to-eat bacon. 10-year shelf life bacon. Ships free at fullycookedbacon.com. Fullycookedbacon.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Just dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want, and Free Talk Live is brought to you by Bitcoin.com. They were everywhere at Anarchapulco 2018. They were the prime sponsor of the event, and Roger Ver from Bitcoin.com brought out a bunch of Bitcoin.com t-shirts, and you just saw them all over the event after that. People were wearing them constantly. Bitcoin.com is a great site to go to get the basics about Bitcoin. What is it? It's been around now since 2009, and if you haven't taken the time to learn about what it is, then you need to go and learn about cryptocurrency and start with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. If you're not brand new, if you're old school, you want to get the latest news headlines, go to news.bitcoin.com. You'll find those there. And again, that is news.bitcoin.com. As we continue here, of course, you can bring up anything that you want. We've been talking about international travel and some of the fear-mongering that is put out there about countries like Mexico, for instance. And I'd asked Darryl, and you did a little bit of digging there to see if the State Department, that's putting out all kinds of scary warnings about Mexico's states, do they also go ahead and warn people about visiting their own states or their own cities, like Chicago, one of the most murdering cities in the United States right now?
Not that I was able to find.
No, okay, I didn't think so.
I did notice, and they actually have a list of basically every country with a level 1, 2, 3, or 4. Level 4 is do not travel. Level 3 is reconsider. Level 2 is exercise increased caution. And level 1 is exercise normal precautions.
Okay.
Yemen is a do not travel. Level 4, do not travel. Which
Scary.
I wouldn't recommend traveling to Yemen either, but for different reasons than what the State Department
Any places
says.
where bombs are dropping is probably not a real safe place to travel.
Right.
That's not happening in Acapulco.
Correct. For Yemen, they say do not travel to Yemen due to terrorism, civil unrest, health, and armed conflict.
Yeah.
They don't mention anywhere in here that the U.S. government is helping the Saudi government bomb the living S out of Yemen.
Right. So
they don't mention that in Yemen, 90% of the food has to be imported, and the U.S. military is assisting the Saudi military in blockading the ports of Yemen and preventing the Red Cross and the UN and every other humanitarian organization that wants to get food into Yemen. They're being prevented from doing so.
So basically,
that's not mentioned by the State Department here.
If you go to Yemen, you might get killed by your own tax dollars.
Or starve to death.
Falling on you. Yeah. Yikes. All right. So if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. Again, 855-450-FREE like freedom. So whether it's the folks from North Korea being thrown out of Canada, or in this case, I've got news about Venezuela as well. We actually had a guest on from the conference that we were at, Anarchapulco.
Reconsider travel to Venezuela due to crime, civil unrest, poor health infrastructure, and arbitrary arrest and detention of U.S. citizens.
That I believe, because Venezuela is a bad place. You don't want to be there right now. It is incredibly dangerous. I know Luke Radowski from We Are Change went down there, and they confirmed it is a scary, dangerous place. And there's a good reason for that. That's because the people there are desperate, and desperate people will do desperate things they otherwise might not ever consider doing, but because they are hungry, they want to sustain their life.
Right.
And so that means they will rob a truck. We talked recently about the delivery drivers being waylaid by gangs of people who are just hungry. They don't want to hurt the driver, but they want to get the food that's inside the truck. Now, we know that's not okay. It's not okay to use aggressive force against, somebody carrying products that aren't yours and appropriating them for your own use. But there's just the reality of how this animal, the human being that we all are, can act when it's, like I said, near death, when its life is being threatened.
Right. When you're facing starvation, your sense of morality tends to go out the window.
It gets warped
a little
for
bit
sure.
of, I can either steal some food off of this truck or I can starve to death.
That may seem to be the choice. There may be other options, but yes, that is probably the most apparent
I could
choice.
beat the driver and eat him, but leave the food on the truck. I could go kill a starving zoo animal
and they've done that.
Hope to wind up getting enough marrow out of the bone because there's no meat on the animal because he's starving as well.
You're not exaggerating.
You
That
don't have
actually
very
happened.
many options.
Yeah, that's actually happened. You're not exaggerating in Venezuela. And the reason why people are starving in a land that basically doesn't have any non-growing seasons is because, the government has destroyed the economy.
We're talking about a country that is a tropical climate.
Correct.
Meaning that
year-round growth.
You should be able to grow food constantly.
Yes.
When is planting season?
All the time.
Whenever? Yesterday?
If you had the ability to actually own the property, which you don't, because it's the government's, and the socialist government there is in charge of who owns what and what shall be grown. And, of course, whenever you put central control in charge of making decisions, you get a communist paradise. Oh, no, you get starving people. Here's the latest headline from Reuters. Venezuelan...
The Venezuelan government did not always own the farmland.
That's right.
They nationalized that just a few years ago because the farmers weren't actually being able to sell anything because nobody has money.
Correct, because of the socialist policies that screwed up the exchange rates and that wreaked havoc on the ability to get basic products imported into the country. It's a mess. And now, as a result of all of this, we reported last year how much weight the average Venezuelan had lost in 2016. And I think it was like 17 pounds.
I think it was 19.
Yeah.
75% of Venezuelans lost at least 19 pounds, which means the average, is going to be slightly different from that. But 75% lost at least 19 pounds.
In 2017, according to the latest numbers, Venezuelans reported losing on average 24 pounds in body weight last year, and almost 90% now live in poverty, according to a new university study on the impact of a devastating economic crisis and food shortages. The annual survey, published on Wednesday by 3 universities, is one of the most closely followed assessments of Venezuelans' well-being amid a government information vacuum, and shows a steady rise in poverty and hunger in recent years. Over 60% of Venezuelans surveyed said that during the previous 3 months, they had woken up hungry because they didn't have enough money to buy food. About a quarter of the population was eating 2 or fewer meals per day, the study showed. Last year, 3 universities found that the Venezuelans said they'd lost an average of 8 kilograms during 2016. Just to clarify, this year it's 11 kilograms. So you're talking about almost a 50% increase in loss, if you want to call it that way. They lost almost 50%, 40% or so.
Right.
More weight this year. And let's see, 8 kilograms during 2016.
That's almost 18 pounds.
This time, the study's dozen investigators surveyed 6,168 Venezuelans between the ages of 20 and 65 across the country of 30 million people. After winning the presidency in 1999, leftist President Hugo Chavez was proud of improving Venezuela's social indicators due to oil-fueled welfare policies. But his successor, President Nicolas Maduro's rule since 2013 has coincided with a deep recession due to failed state-led economic policies and the plunge in global oil prices. Wednesday's study flagged Venezuelans' deteriorating diets, which are deficient in vitamins and protein, as currency controls restrict food imports, hyperinflation eats into salaries, and people line up for hours to buy basics like flour.
All right, so the article here says that Venezuelans' diets are deficient in vitamins and proteins. No, their diets are deficient in food.
Yeah. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We'll tell you more about it coming up here in moments. And what is the Venezuelan state's solution? They're getting into cryptocurrency. Is it going to work?
Nope.
Why not? It's Free Talk Live.
No electricity.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, so do Skype on in here and join the show. Skype username is LRN.FM. If you want to help support Free Talk Live, you like the fact that we're on almost 180 radio stations out there across the United States, then please, you can support the show over at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, and it means that your $5 a month will be invested into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations around the country bring new internet listeners on board, expose new people to the ideas of freedom. Head over to amp.freetalklive.com. You get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the usual commercial load that our regular podcast does. And you also get special access to things like the AMP-only chat rooms in the new Discord that we have over at discord.lrn.fm. So if you haven't checked that out yet, you should do that. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up with credit cards, with PayPal, and also with Bitcoin Core, which the fees on Bitcoin Core have come down significantly. So
yeah, back under like 25 cents.
Maybe we'll actually see somebody use the Bitcoin Core for the AMP program now again. So once again, go to amp.freetalklive.com and you can do that. As we continue here, once again, 855-450 free is the toll-free number. We're talking about Venezuela and what's happening there with people losing a dramatic amount of weight. The average Venezuelan in 2017, according to Reuters' report here, lost 24 pounds.
Reuters didn't do the report.
Correct. According to
Reuters. It was 3 universities that did the survey, and Reuters is reporting on that.
Correct. That's what I was saying. According to Reuters. Wednesday's study flagged Venezuelans' deteriorating diets. Income is being pulverized, said Maria Ponce, one of the study's investigators. She told a news conference at the Andres Bello Catholic University on Caracas's outskirts, quote, "This disparity between the rise in prices and the population's salaries is so generalized that there's practically not a single Venezuelan who is not poor." They said that basically 90% of Venezuela is now in poverty at this point. The study calculated the poverty rate from 13 different economic indicators, such as income and access to services. If the average of these indicators was above 25%, investigators defined a person as poor. Prices rose in Venezuela 4,068% in the 12 months to the end of January, according to estimates by the country's opposition-led National Assembly. Darryl, would you mind pulling up Dollar today, and we'll get a current update. Last I saw, there was 230,000 Bolivar per $1 US dollar in the black market rates.
230,000. Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. There's 230, 228, and then 241,592.
That's a lot of Bolivar for $1 US dollar.
What's the difference between those two numbers again?
You'll have to read what it says. There's like a name for each one of them here.
Cambio Frantizio Dollar CUC.
The number that you want is the main number, 230,000.
Okay.
Is the main one. But either way, it's a big number, 230,000, 241,000. Who's counting? At that point, your 10,000 Bolivar isn't worth crap. So that's nothing.
Right.
Anyway, it's just amazing watching this happening. Unfortunately, there are people, millions of them, who are living this, and it's horrifying for them. Again, prices up 4,000% in just 12 months, according to estimates by the country's opposition-led National Assembly, broadly in line with the independent economists' figures. The study showed that 87% of people in Venezuela, one of Latin America's wealthiest nations in the 1970s, were living in poverty last year, rising from 82% in 2016 and just 48% by comparison in 2014.
Just 48%.
Yeah. I added the just there.
Right. I'm just pointing that out to where when nearly half of the population is in poverty, that's bad.
Now it's almost 9 out of 10.
But compared to now, that's a vast improvement.
The Venezuelan government hasn't released data on poverty since the first half of 2015, when the National Statistics Institute reported a poverty rate of 33%.
And I believe they also stopped releasing an official inflation rate around that same time.
That's correct. The government also didn't respond for requests on comments about the study, which says that people are starving. But its supporters often accuse academics of exaggerating data and being in league with the opposition.
And the guy that runs Dollar Today that works at Home Depot in Hoover, Alabama, he is the reason that there's massive inflation in Venezuela.
And believe it or not, there are actually people who believe that claim. That's the official story of
those
the Venezuelan
people are
government.
named Nicolas Maduro and his cronies.
No, there are actually people who believe that claim, like besides Nicolas Maduro and the government goons. Like just because the government parrots the claim about this guy running Dollar Today, that he's just a puppet, that he's not the actual one running the website. that it's all the U.S. government or something like that. There's this big conspiracy theory behind it, that they've put this man who works at the Home Depot on the front lines as though he's the person running the website, but that he's actually not, and it's just some big plot to inflate the money supply of Venezuela, because apparently some people believe what Nicolas Maduro says, and that by putting a number on a computer website that has nothing whatsoever to do with anything regarding the Bolivar,
the printing presses.
Yeah. But just by putting a big number on a website, that you can get people to believe in inflation, and so therefore that's inflation. And of course, it ignores what inflation actually. I'm telling you, Darryl, I ran into one of these people in real life. They were at the convention, and they were from Venezuela. That was my understanding. So, like, there's some serious propaganda going on down there, and it just flies in the face of economic sense, because inflation, by definition, is the increase in the money supply.
Correct.
And there's only one organization in Venezuela that can do that, and that is the Venezuelan Central Bank. They have to, well, in their case, contract out the printing of new bolivars, and then they distribute those within the country. That's inflation. That's what that is. Now, of course, hyperinflation can result from something beyond just the printing press. That does to some extent have to do with people's mindsets, meaning that if people don't believe in the currency, that will help subject it to hyperinflation in people's minds, because they're going to want more of it faster, right? Like if people believe the currency's worth crap, and it is worth crap,
right,
and they believe it's worth even less than they thought it was or whatever, then it will become worth less. The only reason why government currencies are worth something is because people believe in it, right? So once people stop believing in the currency, it goes even more insane.
Right, but if I only accept a $20 bill as valued at $10, that's not going to cause inflation or hyperinflation. There still has to be an action by the central bank or some government entity to print more currency.
Yeah, I think you're right about that, but I think that somebody's
people's
mindset
thoughts
plays
and
into
actions can lead to that additional printing, but the actual increase of the money supply is the inflation.
Well, don't worry, Darryl.
And hyperinflation is when it hits a certain threshold, and I forget what that is.
They've got a plan. Don't worry. The Venezuela government has a brilliant plan to introduce, and you got to give them credit for this, the world's first state-run cryptocurrency. Now, it's going to be awful because it's state-run. There's just no way that it could be anything but
awful. It's going to be an Ethereum token. Of course it's going to be awful.
No, it's not. They're launching their own currency. I believe what you're referring to is the ICO. So first, as I understand it, now I could be wrong.
Right, the ICO.
That's on the Ethereum.
You buy an Ethereum token.
Correct.
And then like 90-some-odd% of other ICOs, they're never actually going to develop their own blockchain.
Okay, so you're predicting that it will end after the initial, that they're going to just get a big cash rush in with the Ethereum, because for listeners that don't know what an ICO, it's an initial coin offering, so sort of like an IPO with stocks. Initial coin offerings give people the opportunity to invest in ideas, usually just ideas. There's a bunch of these things out there.
Vaporware.
Most of them are vaporware. There are some that actually did create a thing before doing an ICO, but most of them are, hey, we've got this really cool idea. Here's a bunch of things that you can buy. We're calling them tokens. They're based on the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is the second most valuable cryptocurrency by market cap in the world right now, I believe. And so in order to get the ICO tokens for whatever the idea happens to be, it could be, some new doodad, it could be some new website, it could be a new app, it could be, whatever the vision is. In this case, it's a cryptocurrency. So Nicolas Maduro and his cronies are going to do an ICO and have begun doing it, actually, as of the last 24 to 48 hours. They're going to be doing this ICO to allow people to spend Ethereum or Ether and then in return get these tokens. And then those tokens, I guess you'll do something with them later on? I'll find out.
They're saying on their website by April they will launch the Petro platform.
Right.
That you would then exchange the tokens for the Petro.
Which, that's the big claim. You're saying they're never going to get to it because
I don't think they will.
They may raise billions of dollars in this ICO and they could just walk with it like so many other ICOs have. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live, Hour 3 next.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply, or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now, earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, February 21st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.43 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,328 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $37, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,016. Antiwar.com reports at least 29 people, mostly Afghan police, were killed on Tuesday in a series of attacks across Afghanistan, with the largest attack hitting the Farah province, where the Taliban targeted multiple checkpoints. Taliban fighters hit 2 highway checkpoints early in the morning in Buluk district in Farah, killing 16 police, then hitting another checkpoint inside the provincial capital, killing 5 more. 4 police are also reported missing after the string of attacks. 5 more police were killed in the Helmand province and another attack by the Taliban on a checkpoint overnight, though when the Taliban issued a statement of responsibility, they'd claimed to have killed dozens of police and captured 10 others. Rounding out Tuesday's violence was a mysterious explosion at a hotel in Jalalabad, which killed 3 civilians. Jalalabad has recently been targeted by the Islamic State fighters, though as of yet, officials aren't saying what happened there.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports for the first time since 2007, the Texas Parole Board on Tuesday recommended clemency for a prisoner on death row who was convicted of murdering his family for inheritance money. Bart Whitaker is scheduled to be executed on Thursday for the 2003 slayings, although the Parole Board recommended that his sentence be reduced to life in prison. The final decision on Whitaker's fate will be up to Governor Greg Abbott. Bart Whitaker's father, Kent Whitaker, was the lone survivor of the attack and has advocated for his son to get a life sentence. At a press conference before the Parole Board announced its recommendation, Kent Whitaker said, "Victims' rights should mean something in this state, even when the victim is asking for mercy and not vengeance." Kent Whitaker told local media that his son has been a model prisoner and is working on a graduate school thesis, and received 4 letters from prison guards who recommended that his life be spared. Kent Whitaker said, "My son is the last member of my direct family, and he's going to be taken from us by the state of Texas in the name of justice in a way that none of my family wants."
Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io.
Reuters reports a Wisconsin man convicted of murder in the case that was chronicled in the Netflix documentary Making a Murderer on Tuesday asked the U.S. Supreme Court to toss out his 2005 confession that his attorney claims was coerced by investigators. Attorneys for Brendan Dassey made a similar argument to the U.S. 7th Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago in December and failed. The judges voted 4-3 to uphold his conviction in the slaying of Teresa Halbach. Dassey confessed that when he was 16, he helped his uncle, Stephen Avery, rape and kill Halbach in 2005. Her charred remains were found on Avery's property about 80 miles north of Milwaukee in Manitowoc County. The pair were convicted of the murder in separate trials. Both men are in prison in Wisconsin. The case was the basis for a 10-part documentary, Making a Murderer, which questioned the handling of the investigation and the motives of the county law enforcement officials. A dissenter in the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals decision, Chief Judge Diane Wood, said Dassey was a low-functioning teenager with an IQ in the low 80s and that without his confession, the case against him was almost non-existent. Wood wrote, "Even if we were to overlook the coercion, the confession is so riddled with input from the police that its use violates due process." In 2016, a U.S. magistrate judge overturned the guilty verdict against Dassey, citing coercion. Then, a 3-judge panel of the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals upheld the magistrate's ruling, and Wisconsin prosecutors asked for the review by the full court. In October, a Wisconsin judge denied Avery a new trial. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
If you're just tuning in, a horrific accident. Dozens are dead and hundreds more injured after the Coors Light party train crashed in Pratt, Kansas. The train was barreling through a field on its way to liven up a boring, overheated barbecue when something went wrong. Partiers were thrown hundreds of feet from the train as the frost-powered locomotive careened through bystanders at its normal speed of over 27,000 miles per hour. Rescue crews are struggling to get close to the crash. The Rocky Mountain frost radiating from the downed silver bullet is flash freezing survivors' bodies as they try to escape the wreckage, and the OJ's hit song Love Train is looping at deafening levels. No word yet on the cause of the accident, but investigators are focusing now on the fact that the train weighs 400 million tons and was not on rails. Coors Light has released the following statement, quote, "Coors Light regrets any loss of life caused by the Coors Light party train's raw, frosty power. Please continue to enjoy Coors Light." We'll have more on this story as it develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour. We got plenty of time for you to join us on the radio waves. Bring up whatever is on your mind. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, like 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, so Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM, or call us on the on-air call-in line chat room on our Discord. You can join Discord by going to discord.lrn.fm. We were just giving you an update from Venezuela, one of the saddest places in the world to live. It's an economically depressed place in an extreme way. They have what is apparently the most worthless currency on the face of the planet at the moment, and it is just getting worse as hyperinflation is just wrecking the currency there. And of course, the economy was wrecked previously by the government-mandated exchange rate of a 1 to what was originally 1 to 6.3, meaning you would get 6.3 bolivars for exchanging a U.S. dollar at a bank. It is now 10 to 1 there, so 10 bolivars for 1 U.S. dollar. But the real exchange rate is the one that's set in the marketplace and the black market, because it's illegal to have your own exchange rate, basically. You have to use the government's exchange rate if you're going to be exchanging currencies officially.
Correct.
But in the black marketplace, if you can find people to trade with, they'll give you over 230,000 bolivar for your $1. That's reality.
Yes.
And that has really messed things up there. It has resulted in it being difficult to import food. It's also difficult to grow your own food because the government, as you pointed out in the last hour, Darryl, has nationalized all kinds of industry, including farming.
Yep.
And so, therefore, you don't get to decide. And if you don't decide, then you have to allow some central planners to decide. And since they're not actually in the midst of farming, they don't know what people want. They don't know how to read economic indicators like market signals. And so they constantly misallocate resources. And, of course, they're stealing the resources to begin with. What little resources are left to steal from the poor, starving now Venezuelan people. It was bad last year with Venezuelans losing approximately 18 pounds on average, now losing 24 pounds on average in the last year. And doesn't seem like they're going to have a whole lot more weight they could possibly lose, right? If you've lost 18 pounds one year and then 24 pounds the next year, you're going to... you're kind of much, there's not much left inside you at that point.
And that's why I was saying, and you were talking about the fact, and we discussed this a couple of weeks ago, that there were people stopping trucks that were delivering food and then stealing the food. And
very dangerous.
I pointed out, when you're starving, you're not necessarily concerned about, property rights. No. And your morality sort of goes out the window because you go into survival mode.
This is one of those things where the non-aggression principle kind of breaks down a little bit, right? Where we've talked about in a situation in which, let's say it's a natural disaster. I think that's usually the context in which it's come up here because people generally aren't starving in the United States and under most circumstances. Right. But in a natural disaster situation where there is no food available, is it wrong to, somebody else has already smashed the storefront window, there's bread all over the place. Do you take a loaf of bread in order to sustain yourself? And the best answer I could come up with in that circumstance would be that the intention would be to pay it back later.
Right. So there's the question of, is it morally wrong, but also, is it understandable?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that a lot of libertarians, they never look at the, is it understandable that someone does X? Mm-hmm. They just look, well, it's wrong. Well, but do you understand why they did it? And that's where empathy comes in, and a lot of libertarians
can't
lack empathy.
Yeah, absolutely. And empathy, for those that don't understand it, is the ability to put yourself into someone else's shoes.
Yes.
To try to feel as that other person might feel if one were in similar circumstances. So now Venezuela has a solution. They call it the Petro. Here's the story from CNBC. And this was posted earlier today. Venezuelans' oil-backed cryptocurrency raised $735 million in one day, according to President Nicolas Maduro.
What idiot gives the Venezuelan government money?
People who think they're going to make money. I mean, some people who are libertarians have purchased Ripple, which is a bank-run currency. It's not a cryptocurrency, but it is a currency that seems to be a cryptocurrency.
It's a cryptocurrency. It's not a decentralized cryptocurrency.
We don't know if it's a cryptocurrency, Darryl. You can't read their code. How do you know it's encrypted? How do you know it's like cryptographically secure?
Let me pull up the definition of cryptocurrency again.
Yeah, please. As far as I understand, it does not meet the definition of cryptocurrency because cryptocurrencies are supposed to be open source so you can verify that they are actually cryptographically secure and sound, and Ripple is not, as I understand it.
Definition from Google definitions.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency is a digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of a currency and verify the transfer of funds, operating independently of a central bank.
So that's false because we don't know if it's a cryptographically secure thing since they don't have open source. You can't verify that anything is true. You can't verify that the transactions are, editable or whatever, or they're final. We know, in fact, that they can go in and reverse transactions within the Ripple system. It's not like a lot of cryptos where...
Definition here does not mention immutable, which if it did, Ethereum would not be a cryptocurrency.
No doubt. I didn't say immutable had to be in the definition of cryptocurrency.
You said that we don't know if they can undo transactions, which...
I just gave you an example of one of the things we We do know they can undo transactions there, but I was saying that we don't know if it's cryptographically secure. You don't know anything about it. You just know what they tell you.
Right, and
it's a digital currency.
The mention of encryption is that encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units. It doesn't say that the currency itself is encrypted or cryptographically secure.
Okay. The toll-free number here tonight is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So anyway, they've come up with the Venezuelan the Petro. Nicolas Maduro, according to the story here, has claimed $735 million was raised on Tuesday, and that was the supposed first day of this pre-sale, you're not actually buying the Petro, you're buying a token that they claim it raised more than 4.777 billion Chinese yuan or 735 million US, and that the state-backed virtual currency, quote, reaffirms our economic sovereignty, unquote. Caracas said that each unit of the Petro is pegged to the price of 1 barrel of Venezuelan oil. The country's cryptocurrency regulator has said it hopes the Petro will draw investment from Qatar, Turkey, and other Middle Eastern countries, as well as from the European nations and the U.S. But a number of skeptics have raised concern about the country's cryptocurrency ambitions, with some citing Venezuela's debt problems and the possibility of asset manipulations as cause for doubt. Venezuela is currently facing hyperinflation, the collapse of its currency, the bolivar, and shortages in food and other basic necessities due to price controls. So again, the skeptics are concerned about their cryptocurrency, citing the possibility of asset manipulation. Well, yeah, that's what they're doing with the bolivar, so why wouldn't they try to F around with their supposed cryptocurrency? And again, I'm just going to stand on the claim that if it's not open source, it's not a cryptocurrency, because you have to trust somebody. And the whole idea behind cryptocurrency is you don't have to trust, you can verify if you know how to program. Obviously, obviously the rest of us who don't know how to program have to trust a programmer who claims to have verified the program.
Right.
But there are enough programmers in the world to where that's a possibility. You don't have to trust the crew of people who is making a thing if that thing is actually open source. And I suspect that the Petro will be in that category of the Ripple, where it will not be available to inspection. It will not be an open source project. But that's just speculation on my part.
Right. It's going to be a token on the Ethereum platform. I don't think it will ever wind up being anything other than a token on the Ethereum platform. What is being sold in this ICO are tokens on the Ethereum platform.
And you believe that at that point they are going to stop and they are never going to release the Petro itself, that they're going to take the money and run, basically. Which they probably will. I think that's a fair prediction.
Oh, we're working on it. We just need a little more time.
Right, after they've raised billions of
dollars.
The
Americans caused us to not get this done.
There's more coming up here. 855-450-FREE. Your thoughts on the Petro or whatever's on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful. Healthy and shiny and glossy. DINOVITE.com.
Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Digibyte before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies, grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it, and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Digibyte for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Digibyte.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in, toll free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. Or join us on the on-air call-in line on our Discord, the ostensibly largest libertarian Discord out there, over at discord.lrn.fm. You just hop in the on-air call-in line room, and we'll see you in there and put you on the air after a short bit. Usually we try to screen the calls first just to make sure your microphone's working all right. So do be patient in there, and we'll get to you. It's Ian with you.
And Darryl.
Don't forget, you can get interactive at freetalklive.com and enjoy all the features on the website. They're completely free. I just got to spend the last several days in Acapulco, Mexico, but I wasn't the only host from the Liberty Radio Network that was there. Obviously, Mark was in attendance as well. But Ernest Hancock from Freedom's Phoenix was also there. Unlike us, Ernie was on full vacation. He's not doing any of his show while he's out and about. So his show's in refeeds at the moment, but I think he's going to be picking it back up sometime next week. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. Regardless of whether or not Ernie's on the air, they're constantly updating Freedom's Phoenix with liberty-oriented news and information. It's the freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty, whether it's science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, or the rise of the police state. They're covering it over at freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. So we were talking about Venezuela and how just absolutely awful things are there. They've got this Venezuelan Petro plan that they're going to be rolling out. They're supposedly doing right now with a ICO, which stands for Initial Coin Offering, where they're offering Petro tokens in return for Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is something that they can take and exchange on marketplaces for dollars, which they can then use to do things like print more bolivars or pay off whatever debts that they have.
And some Ethereum tokens, I don't know how many of them, but I do know that some Ethereum tokens are themselves listed on exchanges.
That's true. Yep.
So you don't necessarily have to exchange the token for Ethereum necessarily. You might, depending on the exchange, have to do that before exchanging to Tether or something else that you convert to your native currency.
You don't get the Petro token without exchanging Ethereum first. So if you want to get the token, you have to get
I'm just saying, Ethereum. Once you have a Petro token, but the Venezuelan government, they're receiving the Ethereum, so they can just exchange that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they can turn the Ethereum into whatever they want to turn it into, including, like I said, dollars.
So that they can pay the printing companies that they owe millions of dollars to?
$70 million as of the last time we checked.
And I think that was just to one of the printers.
Correct. I suspect they didn't use more than one at that time, but I bet you they moved to a different company since that one printer was refusing to accept any more business from them from that point forward. So we're going to watch this Petro supposed cryptocurrency pretty closely here and see what happens.
And you mentioned that according to some source, they've sold $735 million worth of this thing.
In day number one on Tuesday.
I found an article from the Economic Gazette that says that Maduro did not give details of the original investors and no evidence was provided for his statement about the amount of money raised. So
they could provide the evidence if they wanted to, because most of these, ICOs, they give you an address that you have to deposit
here is
to.
The address, and they generally use one that people, the ones that I've seen,
I guess they could just use one because it would come from a specific address, and so they could just credit that.
Right, and that way it's very easy to track it. Here's how much came in. In the case of the Petro, you have to log into their website before you can wind up getting any information. And, they've got this thing on lockdown. Now, one thing that's interesting, skipping down basically to the end of this article from Economic Gazette, they say that the opposition leaders in Venezuela have said the sale of the Petro is an illegal debt issue to circumvent the Venezuelan legislature, and the U.S. Department of Treasury has warned that it could wind up breaking the sanctions that were imposed last year.
If you invest in the Petro?
No, they're saying that
the Petro
could break sanctions.
But if you as an individual give money to...
then you could personally be held liable,
that's what I'm saying.
That's not what the warning here is talking about. They're saying that Venezuela's use of this Petro could be a way to circumvent.
That's what they want to do. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're bragging about. And, if breaking sanctions means that people get fed, that'd be great, but that's not what's going to happen in this particular case.
Oh, no, people will get fed. Those people are Nicolas Maduro, his family.
Yeah, he's well fed. He's a very pudgy man. Unlike most of Venezuela, as we reported just recently, within the last year, average Venezuelan losing 24 pounds just because they can't eat. But here's an interesting detail, Darryl. We had heard that it was going to be Ethereum. Everybody was told that it was going to be Ethereum.
The white paper says it's going to be an ERC20 token.
Here's breaking news, basically, from Vice's motherboard. A last-minute blockchain switch has seen scammers trying to cash in on confusion. Headline, Venezuela's Petro launch was amateur hour. On Tuesday, Venezuela completed the first phase in launching its first-ever state-issued and oil-backed cryptocurrency called the Petro, and it got weird. A Petro token was released in a pre-sale stage using a different technology than was stated in the white paper. This change was effectively announced without any fanfare in a Petro buyer's manual that the Venezuelan government released on Tuesday. The Petro white paper, an important document that lays out the technical foundations of a cryptocurrency, initially had stated the Petro token would exist on the Ethereum blockchain. And that's what we've been claiming all night long here.
Right, because I read the white paper.
And that it would be coded as a smart contract, but it was actually released as an asset on NEM. This opened the door for scammers to try and cash in on the confusion. NEM, short for New Economy Movement, is a blockchain that's been around since 2015 and is secured by a allegedly more egalitarian, compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum, proof of importance algorithm that selects miners based on how much NEM they have rather than how much capital they own in terms of computers and money to pay for electricity.
So proof of importance is basically a different term for proof of stake?
First I've heard of it, but I'd say that sounds like a possible definition for it. This potentially makes it more in line ideologically with Venezuela's socialist president, Nicolas Maduro. But when NEM's official Twitter account confirmed that the Petro token is on its blockchain, it also noted the NEM Foundation does not make political endorsements. NEM Foundation spokesperson Alex Tinsman wrote Motherboard in an email, quote, "The NEM Foundation is not involved with this project, and we're not in a position to control any open source projects. The NEM Foundation has a clear purpose to introduce, educate, and promote the use of NEM blockchain technology platform on an international scale to all industries and institutions. Really, it doesn't take much to learn how to use NEM's tech. It's intuitive and built for enterprise. So we see all kinds of projects being built on it." So basically saying, hey, it's open source. We can't say no if somebody wants to do this.
Right. So I do have info on what proof of importance is and how it differs
from proof of stake. All right, let's talk about that coming up here and about how people are getting scammed now. Because if everybody thinks that the Petro token is on the Ethereum blockchain,
which is what the white paper said,
what does that mean for potential scam artists to take advantage of that misunderstanding? The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Join us on Free Talk Live.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Gilman's Hardware is a local business with a very special story. Although small and family-owned, the storefront operation has managed to consistently exploit and debase its workers just as if they were members of a giant multinational corporation.
From the moment I started the store 6 years ago, I wanted to make sure that every employee here at Gilman's felt like they were nothing more than a cog in a giant machine, just as if they had worked at one of our larger corporate competitors.
Den Blaker said that despite having only 10 employees and a single location, he's managed to implement a number of unique policies to significantly reduce employee morale, including forbidding sales clerks to sit down during lengthy shifts, reducing their number of days with paid time off, and insisting on humiliating pat-downs during lunch breaks to ensure they never felt like trusted or valued employees.
Other small businesses might have given me benefits or, let me take a day off. But everyone here at Gilman's does their best to treat you like you're a totally replaceable tool for generating profit.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999. And ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. You can bring up what you want right here. The number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype in here and join the conversation there. Skype username LRN.FM, or hop on into the Discord on-air call-in line through our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
So we're talking about the, according to Motherboard, amateur hour launch of the Petro token. So the Venezuelan government is creating the first, supposedly, you doubt that it's actually ever going to happen, Darryl, and I think you may be right about this. Seems like a safe prediction that the government's going to screw it up so bad they never even launch the currency, or that it was never even their intention.
They might say that they have launched it, but I don't think that it will ever wind up being on any kind of exchange to where there's any proof that it was launched.
So speaking of proof, we were getting into the idea of proof of importance.
Yes.
And you looked that up because what happened here, according to motherboard.vice.com, was at apparently the last minute, the government agency that's launching this Petro token decided, oh, well, we've been saying and putting in our white paper that's going to be an Ethereum token, which is pretty much where all the tokens are, is on the Ethereum blockchain. But now it's an NEM asset type, which I guess is different from a token somehow. I don't know anything about NEM.
Basically, asset is the NEM term for token.
Okay. I've never looked into NEM. I saw that it was like a Chinese crypto or something like that, and it seemed to be maybe I don't even know anything about it, but it's one of the top 10 right now, isn't it? NEM.
I don't know. I've heard of it. I can try pulling that up.
But tell me about the proof of importance.
Yes.
First.
So when you mentioned proof of importance, my first question was,
what is it?
How's that different from proof of stake? So article here from Smith and Crown says proof of importance is a blockchain consensus mechanism introduced by NEM that functions similar to proof of stake, where nodes need to vest an amount of currency to be eligible for creating blocks and are selected for creating a block roughly in proportion to a score. In proof of stake, the score is one's total vested amount. So
blocks, by the way, are the portions of the blockchain that have data in them, like transaction information.
Right. So with Dash, for instance, they have the super nodes where you need, or master nodes, where you need like 1,000 Dash that must stay in that node. With proof of importance, the score includes more variables in addition to the amount that is in that vested thing. The calculation borrows from the math network clustering and page ranking. They say at a high level, the primary inputs are net transfers. So how much has been spent in the last 30 days, with recent transactions weighing more heavily.
From your wallet. How are you using the currency?
Correct. So not only do you have this amount, but are you actually using it?
Okay.
So it basically discourages hoarding.
That's
it
good.
encourages you to actually use the thing. And that's been one of the big arguments against
proof of
things
stake.
like, not just proof of stake, but specifically against Dash.
I've never heard that argument against Dash.
Because Dash has the master nodes that you have to lock up a certain amount.
So with proof of stake, as I understand it, proof of stake is anybody with a stake, basically.
With a certain amount of stake.
No, not always. Anybody with stake can get rewards from the proof of stake system. The more stake you have, the more likely rewards are to come to you.
I've never heard of a system to where simply having a node counts as stake. You
have to have crypto.
You have to have a certain amount. That's why I say a certain amount of.
Some are like that, but not all of them. So anyway, I think for instance, PIVX, for instance, is a proof of stake where holding any amount gets you more PIVX over time. The other proof of stake thing that's a problem that this proof of importance might be looking to solve, but there are other proof of stakes that solve it as well, is that the longer you hold a thing, the longer you hold the amount, the more you are going to earn from it. So that absolutely discourages the spending in that particular case. Right. But in the case of Dash, Dash is a mined currency. The master nodes, so it's a proof of work currency. The master nodes do get rewards, but they're providing service in return for those rewards. Now, they are indeed locking down that 1,000 Dash in that case in order to become a master node, but of course, that's not exactly the same thing as proof of stake, because proof of stake isn't providing the master node service. You can have stake in these proof of stake systems and just simply hold crypto. You don't need to be running you have a stake in a proof of stake system by having a wallet, whether it's online or offline, you have stake. Whereas with the master node, you're running a server.
Having a wallet in a lot of the proof of stake things is not enough to get you rewards.
That may be true. I'm not saying that's not true. But I'm just saying the difference. But you're saying that masternodes are a proof of stake, and it's not exactly that. Because again, proof of stake can exist whether or not you are online or off. If you've got if it's that minimum amount, if you've got that minimum amount.
If what I said was masternodes equal proof of stake, that's not what I meant. Yeah. What I said was that's one of the arguments against Dash having masternodes is that it encourages hoarding, which then
that much is true.
Artificially decreases the amount of spendable supply.
That much is true.
Which increases the value of that spendable supply.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, and that's always been one of the big questions about Dash for me. But I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, because is it artificial? No, it's the marketplace. It's the market deciding based on individual actors. In the case of Dash, over 4,500 masternodes.
Right, but the number of Dash that one needs, and we're getting a little far afield from the proof of importance thing, but that number is set by the white paper or the developers. It's not set by the users.
That's
true.
So
it kind of is an arbitrary number set by a small group
anything can
of
be
people.
changed by those users, so they can vote to change, how that system works as well. So the masternodes themselves could vote to change how that system works. They could change it to 100 Dash or 1,000 or 10,000 Dash or whatever.
Continuing on.
So what I'm saying is, though, I don't know if. The claim is that the masternodes are locking up a bunch of Dash, and that's true.
Yes.
But I don't know if that's artificial, because it's each individual who's making that choice. It's just simply a market choice. The market in Dash has said, well, there needs to be 4,500 masternodes, and as each individual masternode operator decides to get in or out of that, because there's no penalty, right? Like if you want to take down your masternode, you just remove the Dash from it, and it's gone. So in any moment, that person can liquidate that Dash. It's not like a CD or something where it's, locked up for 5 years.
Right. So continuing on, again, other inputs for determining a score for proof of importance is the vested amount of currency for the purposes of creating blocks, and something that they call cluster nodes. Accounts that are part of interlinked clusters of activity are weighted slightly more heavily than outliers or hubs, which simply link clusters but aren't actually part of them.
Okay.
They say the importance score addresses two primary criticisms of proof of stake. One risk is that people simply hoard as many coins as possible to reap rewards. This concentration of wealth will discourage transactions. The importance score means that hoarding will result in a lower score because, again,
you get a higher score if you spend.
The recent transactions get weighted more heavily than other transactions, and the number of transactions you've had counts towards your score in proof of importance. They say the second risk is the nothing at stake problem, because block creation costs no resources. Whenever there's a fork, someone can freely create blocks on both forks. This will greatly, perhaps indefinitely, prolong the fork. NEM's proof of importance guards against that.
The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE. So what did this switch happen? Again, it was supposed to be Ethereum token that the Venezuelan Petro token was launched on. Turns out it was this completely different blockchain called NEM, which has this proof of importance thing that you were just talking about, Darryl. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can take control of the airwaves in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are coming up next.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Digibyte for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Digibyte.
Everything we tried failed except the Digibyte.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the third bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Digibyte.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. Call the Federal Tax Management Helpline that has been set up for you, 800-503-8625. Stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. Once you've qualified and enrolled, the IRS will stop all the collection activities against you. These unique programs have been allocated to help the economy and significantly reduce or eliminate your tax burden. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe more than $10,000 in taxes, call for free information and to see if you qualify. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-503-8625. That's 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
Armistice Day was a day dedicated to world peace, a day to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding. This sentiment was lost when Congress renamed the day in 1954. So Antiwar.com is reclaiming November 11th as Armistice Day, a celebration of hope and peace. Antiwar.com has been battling the war party for 22 years and has always been on the cutting edge of technology in this fight, having accepted Bitcoin donations for 5 years now. Antiwar.com is diving deeper into the cryptocurrency movement by adding Bitcoin Cash, Dash, and Zcash to its digital currency donation options. And to celebrate, Bitcoin.com has pledged $20,000 in crypto matching funds through December 31st. Help Antiwar.com accelerate into the future with a cryptocurrency donation today.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. We got time for you. If you get on the line right now, our number here is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. If you want to follow Free Talk Live's email updates, go get signed up for those over at freetalklive.com. We got the email list box right there on the front page and toward the center of the top of the site. You'll see it there. Once again, that's freetalklive.com. Let's go to the phones to the fun. Caleb is in Tennessee, listening to one of our newest affiliates, WGOW, there in Chattanooga. Hey, Caleb.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Hey, good. You're on the air.
Am I on the air?
You are. Go ahead.
Yes, I've been listening to your radio program here, and you're talking about cryptocurrency.
Yes.
And there's a lot of great cryptocurrencies out there, but you were talking about NEM, N-E-M.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually started buying NEM when it was around 20 cents, and it was a pretty good buy. It actually got up to a little over $1 here recently, and like a lot of other cryptocurrencies, it's seen a dip in value.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's at 50 cents right now, I still have a profit on it.
And, I don't know. I'm doing a little bit of reading here, and based on the actual definition of cryptocurrency, and Ian, you say that cryptocurrencies need to be open source to where people can check the code.
Otherwise, you have to trust somebody.
NEM, not decentralized, runs a centralized server.
Uh-oh.
And it uses closed source coding.
Bad.
And it was also in the news because it was involved in that CoinCheck hack, CoinCheck being a Japanese crypto exchange, that lost 58 billion yen worth of NEM.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible. But the main reason I called is because there is a true dark horse sleeping giant in the cryptocurrency, and it is very decentralized. It is the most decentralized and fastest cryptocurrency out there.
All right, that's a big claim. Which one?
It is a big claim. I mean, there are faster ones, but not holding both fast and decentralized.
Okay.
This is Digibyte.
Digibyte.
Been out for Digibyte's been out for about 4 years now.
Is that the 4-second blocks? How fast are those blocks on Digibyte? 40 seconds? I forget. What is it? Do you know?
You're right, actually. Yeah, it's about right. It's about 4 seconds, give or take. It's about 40 times faster than Bitcoin. And think about Digibyte. It's got 5 mining algorithms.
Weird.
And over 100,000 nodes.
That's crazy. I didn't know a whole lot about it. I know Will Coley from the Call to Freedom has talked about Digibyte as one of the smaller, sort of up-and-coming potential winners out there.
The wiki article says that it has approximately 15-second block time.
Still pretty fast.
And is the longest public blockchain in existence.
Really?
Well, because you figure a block every 15 seconds, you're going to have a lot of blocks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not necessarily a lot of data on those blocks, but a lot of blocks.
Now, of course, listeners should be aware there's 1,400 different cryptocurrencies out there, and many of them have really cool-sounding features, but at this point, almost none of them are actually in any kind of use beyond pure speculation and just straight-up trading.
1,517 cryptocurrencies according to CoinMarketCap.com.
So, yeah.
8,600 different markets.
It's amazing. I mean, do your due diligence, do your research. I know the Koinomi app does have Digibyte in it, so it's easy to get the Digibytes if you can get them off of an exchange. You can pop them in your Koinomi wallet. And Caleb, anything else you want to share tonight?
Yeah, just one more thing. I was going to say Digibyte is already getting acceptance as a currency. There are airport parking lots that are accepting Digibyte.
Really?
But there is also, I forget exactly where it was, but Digibyte, the only thing I will say that's bad about Digibyte is the marketing. It hasn't had proper marketing to really get it off.
Most of the cryptocurrencies have not had quote-unquote proper marketing.
That's where Dash is, I think, doing a real good job. That's one of the things that makes it pretty neat because they have that marketing budget built right into the crypto. And I saw that with the PivX guys, too. They had a booth and they've been at other events as well. So the ones that build the marketing budget into the sort of the operating system or the white paper and sort of how it all works, I think they have an advantage because you've got to market. I mean, if you want somebody to know you exist among 1,500 competitors, you got to put yourself out there somehow.
So I looked up the airport parking thing. Apparently, there's a company called Top Airport Parking that allows you at...
It's like one of those off-site parking jobs. Where
I don't know if it's off-site, but they accept cryptocurrency for parking using coin payments. Newark International, JFK, Denver, O'Hare, Atlanta, Orlando, LaGuardia, Oakland, Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, Birmingham International,
So
Boston.
they'll take anything that Coin Payments has, which means that Digibyte's and probably dozens of other options. Very cool. Caleb, thanks for the heads up on that. Appreciate hearing from you, and thanks for listening there on WGOW in Tennessee.
Top Airport Parking gives you the top airport parking option at a fraction of the cost. Since all of our parking reservations aren't branded, we're able to mark them at highly discounted prices. So apparently this is a company that works with off-site parking lots to wind up reselling spots, it sounds like.
Let's finish up the story here from Motherboard. Because, again, the crypto that we were talking about here, the alleged crypto, the Petro that has yet to be released, is in an ICO phase right now. This is the one the Venezuelan government is putting out there. They switched at the last moment from the Ethereum blockchain to the NEM blockchain, which is why we were talking about what NEM is.
Yep.
And so this is from the Motherboard article saying that this was a huge screw-up on their part. So here's the rest of the piece. So this blockchain or that blockchain, who cares? Putting aside Ethereum's larger community than NEM and the simple fact that by employing different technologies, they both come with a different set of technical guarantees, switching blockchains in the space of 2 weeks from a white paper release is amateur hour. It's genuinely unclear what happened here. The Spanish white paper, accessible on the official Petro site, still says Ethereum, while the English white paper says NEM. Also, I still haven't received an email 24 hours after signing up to purchase Petro, as a test, of course, he says. And others have tweeted about experiencing this too. And that's going to put a lot of, I mean, if you want to buy something and then you're kept in the dark about a time-limited thing like the ICOs are, because they're always, a limited time.
And not to mention, there are reports of technical glitches in the buying process, such as a JavaScript error preventing people from actually completing the purchases. And there's a video on Twitter where a guy used screen capture to capture video of the error message popping up when he clicked on the complete purchase.
This confusion also opened the door to a few different scams, perhaps leveraging the public's expectation that the Petro token would be on Ethereum. At least 3 different Ethereum tokens calling themselves the
Petro.
The Petro. One on Twitter, one on 4chan, actually pretended to be Venezuela's Petro. They then seized the opportunity to ask people to send them Ethereum. Yet another unrelated Petro coin experienced a nearly 100% jump in price after Venezuela launched its token. It's also worth noting the Petro white paper contains language like, quote, the pre-sale token will not be part of the Petro network until Petro distribution, and, quote, the token may be exchanged for Petro, unquote, suggesting that these Petro pre-sale tokens may not be Petro proper and the final product may not be on NEM. And that's my understanding of what was going to happen, Darryl. You said you saw the calendar or the timeline of potential events on the Petro website, and they say right there that this is just a token, that eventually you can exchange that and get the actual supposed Petro once it's supposedly released in the future.
Yes. Which I don't think will ever happen.
These scam campaigns were probably not very successful, although the address listed by the scam token on 4chan contains $420 worth of Ether, Ethereum's in-house cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, Venezuelan President Maduro says the Petro token sale has raised $750 million so far. It should be noted this figure doesn't seem to be verifiable on the blockchain yet, and one NEM account that observers has flagged as potentially being the Petro account does not reflect that figure. Still, it's early days for the Petro, and a state-issued cryptocurrency is truly unlike anything the world has seen before, for better or for worse. But this is not a great start. So that's the latest on the potentially botched screw job of the Petro cryptocurrency, which, as Darryl has predicted, may not ever see the light of day because the economic incentives of the administration would be to just take the Ethereum and run, or in this case not run, but buy more things and pay debts if that's what they're actually going to do with it. Settle up their account at De La Rue, which is the currency provider for the state of Venezuela, so they can buy more bolivars in the future. Who knows where this is going, but we're going to keep you up to date here on it as we have returned to our normal broadcast schedule of 7 days a week of live radio here after a wonderful several days from Anarchapulco 2018. We'll see you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can join us over at freetalklive.com. And don't forget to join the fun in our Discord before, during, and after the show. Go to discord.lrn.fm and get interactive with some of the hosts and other listeners right there. See you tomorrow. Free Talk Live. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Morsels, helping you create special moments and memories your family will cherish forever. Visit us at tollhouse.com. You may bake for birthdays and holidays, but why stop there? Sweeten up the rest of the year by designating monthly dessert days. Treat your family to one of their favorites or surprise them with something new. Either way, you'll create a tradition everyone will love. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, February 21st, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.43 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,328 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $37, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,016. Antiwar.com reports at least 29 people, mostly Afghan police, were killed on Tuesday in a series of attacks across Afghanistan, with the largest attack hitting the Farah province, where the Taliban targeted multiple checkpoints. Taliban fighters hit 2 highway checkpoints early in the morning in Buluk district in Farah, killing 16 police, then hitting another checkpoint inside the provincial capital, killing 5 more. 4 police are also reported missing after the string of attacks. 5 more police were killed in the Helmand province in another attack by the Taliban on a checkpoint overnight, though when the Taliban issued a statement of responsibility, they'd claimed to have killed dozens of police and captured 10 others. Rounding out Tuesday's violence was a mysterious explosion at a hotel in Jalalabad, which killed